Carlos, I understand it wasn't to the extent of last night, but just how frustrating following that to have a night like tonight where a couple of errors really do you guys in again.
Especially the leadoff one there. It's a completely different inning, especially for Freddy's out in there. It's just routine plays that is costing us. At this level, you expect to make plays like that. Those are routine plays. You understand that they're not going to be perfect, but those are routine as it gets, and teams are making us pay for them, especially the past few nights.
You mentioned Freddy's outing coming off of the last one. What was he able to get back to tonight?
I think it was the way he used all of his pitches. I thought the changeup was a very good pitch for him. The sweeper, obviously the fastball, he elevated it when he needed to. But I think the way he was attacking hitters, he was pitch efficient, and it was a really, really good outing, a good bounce back outing from him. So that's encouraging there.
Fine.
Carlos, what did you think of Mauricio's at-bats tonight and kind of his first game back here?
Overall, I thought the at-bats were okay, especially from the right side. First game back after being out for quite a bit, back in big league competition. So, yeah, as far as the at-bat, I thought it was okay.
You had talked about pregame about just the Soto trying to push to play. At what point did you know that he finally could play, and could you sense any hesitation in his at-bats tonight, or did he seem kind of normal?
Yeah, he looked normal. There were no hesitation. He was swinging as hard as possible, like normal at-bats. Yeah, we found out whenever we released the lineup, after he went through his routine and all that and checked all the boxes, and that's why he played.
Hey, Carlos, understanding that trading David Peterson isn't necessarily a indication that you guys are selling players, but just what are your thoughts on the idea that maybe things could inevitably turn that way?
That's the reality, especially if we don't start playing better. Obviously we got to be honest here. But we can be thinking about what if. Our job is to do what we need to do now. And for me as a manager, for players, we need to take care of business on the field. We're not doing that right now. We let the other decisions for the people that make those decisions.
Hi, Carlos. Is there a sense of any tightness or tension when these games start mounting and you have these consecutive days of errors or defensive mistakes?
It's a frustration. I wouldn't call it tight. I'll just say, guys, struggling, but it's just they're pissed. They're frustrated.
Andrew.
Just what did you think of some of the at-bats with runners in scoring position?
We chase. You look back and we went outside of the strike zone a few times there and ended up costing us. Yeah, we got to do a better job of controlling the strike zone in those situations and trusting the guy behind you. The more times that we can create traffic and pass the baton, that's when the rallies are coming. But we expanded too much.
Freddie, after that outing in Philadelphia, what adjustments were you able to make to have that type of bounce back tonight?
I think just trusting myself and forget about that one. It was a little hard. I'm not gonna lie. The first 2 days, but it's part of the process and it's part of the season and part of the game. And I was able to, with some people around here like Justin and all that, we work together and we get through that. It's understanding that it's normal and sometimes it happens. It's just how I gonna take that, and if I was going to be able to turn it back, it was the more important thing.
It looked like you changed your delivery with the hands over top the head today. What was behind that, and what did that do for you?
It's not really changing. It's just like coming back to myself. Normally, for my career, is my whole career, even since the minor league, is a mechanic that I use for my whole career, except in last year and beginning this season for some reasons. And I was just like trying to remind myself and just take it that way, just to change everything, change the mind, and I felt really good, really comfortable, and everything was smooth today.
Freddie, just overall, how would you describe the mentality that this team has right now with how difficult it has been?
I cannot speak for everybody, but what I can see, and what I feel is losing is not fun, And at the end of the day, I know that we need to win, and that we have a team that is supposed to win. But what I can say, man, is that we've been trying and we've been working really hard to get through this and try to make adjustments and all that. And right now, we just need to keep trying and play better in general. Myself too, we all need to play better and just trying to come back and remind ourselves that we are real leaguers and we are great at this game. We just put everything together and try to put the W every day.
Obviously, that sixth inning opens with the error, but what do you think kind of went kind of awry there for you in the sixth inning with some of the contact that they were able to?
I think like you say, it happens, and I was just trying to calm myself and make my pitches and trying to get a ground ball for a double play and all that. I think that they were really good, like trying to, especially Hap at the end, they were really good, like trying to make me get in more in the sun. I was trying to make my pitches and hit the spot and all that. And, they hit 2 base hits and in that situation for them, which ended up being like probably the difference in the game. And, but it's just adjustments that we have to make in general and, just keep going and keep fighting.
Eric, first of all, just very difficult to come in off the bench, pinch hit situation and perform that way. What did it take for you in that moment to prepare yourself to do something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the word preparation. Like it's doing your homework before you come to the field on who you might face that night, and then doing stuff in the cage to give yourself your best shot to mimic what he's got or something. I faced him last night too, so I had a little bit of an idea what his stuff looked like, and I was able to execute there.
With all the losses that have stacked up here again, what can you sense about just the level of frustration within the clubhouse and just when the errors maybe start stacking together again?
Yeah, I mean, everybody in here is frustrated. I think, we know what our record is. I don't think we can't get all those wins back in one day. We just have to start stacking them and take it day by day. And tomorrow we play the Phillies, so it's come in, prepare for whoever's pitching tomorrow, and just go out there and execute as best as we can and just keep always getting better.